news at your fingertips is great, but sometimes you need an escape. And that's where Shortwave comes in. We're a joy-filled science podcast driven by wonder and curiosity that will get you out of your head and in touch with the world around you. Listen now to Shortwave, the science podcast from NPR.
Hello and welcome to Car Talk from National Public Radio with us, Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers, and we're broadcasting this week from the post-Olympic Village here at Car Talk Plaza.
They don't send post at the Olympic Village.
Well, I don't want to complain or anything, but real talk show hosts get sent to these places to actually do a remote. We're doing a broadcast this week from...
Yeah, from Lilyhammer, one of those places.
Well, they did send us to Lilyhammer, except the Olympics are in Nagano. Well, I don't know. I think it's kind of, and worse than that, we have to go after the Olympics are over.
Well, you know why they don't send us? Because we wouldn't know how to elicit those heartwarming little vignettes about the lives of people who have just broken their both legs sliding down a mountain on their heads.
Well, anyway, after watching the Olympics for a few minutes the other day, I realized that now they're allowing snowboarding, which means they've given up. It's like wearing sweatpants, right?
Like George Costanza.
Exactly.
You've given up, haven't you?
Absolutely. I mean, they have snowboarding. I mean, they might as well allow us to come in and design events.
Why not?
I happen to have a few, actually.
You do?
Well, if they ever ask.
Yeah.
That I think would be just as interesting for the next Olympic Games. You ready for this one?
Sure.
My first one. Parallel parking. I mean, why not? I mean, that's a skill event if I ever saw one.
It is. It takes more skill than just standing there on an icy slope and having to reach the bottom. Any moron can do that. In fact, the test should be to not go to the bottom. Try that, wise guy.
Well, how about this? How about you heard the ski jump, of course.
Yeah.
How about the speed bump?
Speed bump?
Bada-boom! You know that Ford Ranger we drove a couple of weeks ago, that short bed Ford Ranger? I'd want to drive that thing if I were in the speed bump competition.
I know the one I would want. If they were going to do something like this, the one I would want would be the downhill. It's the only one that the Datra could be entered in. I mean, uphill, no way.
No, not really. Well, if you want to talk to us about the Olympics or anything else, our number is 888-CAR-TALK. That's 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Jean from Southwest Missouri.
Jean.
Southwest Missouri?
Yes.
That's the name of the town, Southwest?
No, Moundville.
Mountville.
Moundville.
Oh, Moundville.
Yes.
And you didn't give us the name of the town because you thought we'd make fun of it.
No.
She didn't want anyone there to know who she really was.
That's it.
Too late now.
Give us her last name. And then she would be lumped in with all the Jeans who lived in southwestern Missouri.
Yeah.
Missouri.
But you're from Moundville.
Yes.
Okay.
What's up, Jean?
I have a 1996 Toyota T100 pickup. It's a V6 four-wheel drive. And I'm a rural mail carrier. And so I put a lot of hard miles on my vehicle. And at 50,000 miles, I had to have the idler arm replaced. Mm-hmm. And they blame it on my driving on the mail route and the fact that this is a four-wheel drive vehicle. And I wondered if that's a valid excuse.
Sounds bogus to me. What could you possibly be doing delivering mail, except for stops and starts?
Well, stops and starts and dirt roads.
Dirt roads. You're hitting all those bumps and that thing is bouncing up and down?
Yeah.
Of course you're going to wreck an idler arm. You're lucky you didn't wreck everything.
Now, everything else is holding up just fine.
When you say rural, how rural are we talking?
As rural as you want to get.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, I drive about 70 miles a day on dirt roads.
All dirt roads, mostly?
Well, not all of it. I do 115 miles a day.
Oh, and 70 of it is on dirt roads.
Yeah.
And how many times, just here's the measure. In the typical day, how many times does your head hit the ceiling of the truck?
No, I have good shock, so I don't hit the ceiling.
So the thing's not bouncing around like crazy.
No, and I do avoid the worst of the potholes.
Well, I mean, the truth is that if in fact you drive on those kinds of roads every single day, and of these 50,000 miles, maybe 40,000 of them are on these roads hitting potholes all the time, your front end is going to take it pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Gee, can I ask a question? I mean, it seems obvious to me, and I think maybe it hasn't occurred to a lot of people. Do you deliver to every house every day?
Yes.
Why? I mean, how would they know?
That's my job.
Well, how would they know? I mean, there are some days that I don't get any mail at all.
How would you know that yeah.
And if I got mail every other day, I'd be perfectly content with that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. That does not work. No sense of humor here.
No. Oh, really?
Well, they're just not used to it. You start showing up every other day. I'm telling you. And you can stay home and watch Oprah the other days, and nobody will be the wiser.
No, but then I wouldn't be listening to you guys on the radio.
Why?
That would be better, too.
That would improve your life.
Oh, no.
What's the deal here? You work for the United States Postal Service, and you have to use your own vehicle?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. But they pay me to do that.
They pay you?
Yeah, they pay mileage.
They pay mileage. What do
Oh,
they pay?
that's why you want to go out every day.
Sure.
Well, sure. If
That's
I
how
don't
she makes
go
all
out,
her money.
I don't get paid.
Well, how much do they pay? Like 35 cents a mile?
Yeah, around there.
And you have to keep a log of some kind.
No.
You don't.
No. they
My
know.
brother is such a sleazeball.
He's
always trying to...
So this is like on the honor system?
No, they know how long the route is, and the route doesn't change.
Perfect. So they wouldn't know if you did it every other day.
Yes, they would.
But do they ever, look at your odometer?
Never.
No.
They know what she's supposed to drive every day.
And Jean is an honest, upstanding citizen, and she
course.
does it every day.
That's right.
But my opinion is that the dealership is correct, that it's very possible that the worn idler arm was due directly to the kind of driving that you do.
Okay, even though I've never replaced an idler arm on any other vehicle.
And you've driven on the same route?
Yeah.
Well, I will say that some vehicles have more delicate front ends and steering mechanisms than others. And we have seen on some vehicles like Chevy pickup trucks and some Dodge vans that idler arms go out prematurely, only because the thing is under-designed. And I don't know what the idler arm setup is on the T100. I've never seen one in the shop. But it's possible that they wear out early because of some flaw in the design. I bet you in subsequent years of this model, you will see a redesign of the idler arm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it'll be beefier. And you may be able to avail yourself of one of those, but maybe not. Maybe it won't fit yours. But I think it was under-designed, and it wore out because of the driving you do. Normal driving might not have taken its toll on it.
Okay.
But if you dropped our delivery days down from 6 to 5,
that
extra 35 cents a mile you get will pay for all the idler arms you could possibly burn out.
That's true.
Okay.
See you, Gene.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thanks for calling. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I didn't know that the post office did that. Could I, for example, get a second job driving around in my Dart?
You can't have a second job unless you have a first job. You need a first job to qualify.
Oh, well, they would think it was my first job.
For a second job. Yeah, but you don't have a first job, do you?
Not really.
1-888-CAR-TALK. What is that number again?
1-888-227-8255.
Hello, I sense this. Jean was getting a little ticked off.
She was, yeah, because she was an honest Southern lady.
Tick off a postal worker. Ever?
Oh,
what?
Yeah.
Well,
how silly of us.
Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Who's this?
This is Ben.
Ben, you're not a postal worker, are you?
No, I'm not.
Where do you live?
Rochester, Minnesota.
Rochester, Minnesota.
Got a dairy farm out here.
Do you really?
Yep.
So you get up in the morning and you milk the cows and braid their tails and all that?
Yeah, sort of.
Sort of.
No kidding.
This isn't one of the better days. I got to go fix the manure spreader.
Yeah,
that's never a good day when you have to do that.
No, is that what you need advice on, the manure spreader?
You want to come and do it for me?
No.
Oh.
No. My brother drives a manure spreader. So anyway, Ben, what's shaking?
I got a 84 F-250 pickup.
Yeah.
And it's got just a little bit of hesitation in it when you're driving, mostly on the highway, but it started bothering, downtown too, slower speeds. I took it in. It's got 65,000 miles on it. I took it into a shop back in November, and they couldn't really find anything, although they said the distributor cap looked a little bit worn, and they replaced that, and they said that helped a little bit. They thought it might be the EGR valve, but they didn't really want to replace that because that was like $400.
Does the hesitation, it occurs when you're trying to accelerate?
Nope, just driving down the highway.
Just driving down the highway.
Oh, at a steady speed.
And not all the time. It's like you took your foot off the gas just for a second.
We wouldn't call that hesitation. We would call that a skip.
A skip?
A skip or a miss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it worse if you are trying to accelerate any time? Does it ever happen if you're trying to climb a hill? Does it seem more pronounced?
Nope.
No.
So
it
just
like
like
does it just
boop,
intermittently.
all of a sudden.
Yep.
Is it like someone for a split second turned the key off? Would you compare it to that?
Yeah. And sometimes it's real. You don't hardly even notice it. You can just kind of sense maybe it was doing something.
Yeah.
Okay. How long has this been going on?
Several months, but it was never, like I say, it was so faint I never really paid any attention to it until it started bothering at slower speeds.
And this is an 84?
Yes.
Jeez, it is not the EGR valve.
No.
This thing is
it's an electrical problem.
This has a carburetor. It's a 6-cylinder engine.
Not the
No,
carburetor.
it's a V8.
It's a V8, but it has a carburetor.
Yeah, 2-barrel.
Yeah, it isn't that either. I don't think.
No.
Well, I was just curious.
Yeah, no, it's not the carburetor.
I think you have a bad or a beginning to go bad electronic ignition module.
Yes?
Is it more apt to... I have to ask this very important question. Is it more apt to do it after you've been driving for a while?
Why did you say that?
I wouldn't say that.
I knew that was going to be the answer. I knew in my heart.
Another uncooperative caller.
Yeah, no, it's not that either.
Does it have? It's got a real rough idle when you first start it up and it's cold. After it warms up, then it levels out and it runs real good.
Nah, that's something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm still sticking with the module.
You are.
I am, and I wouldn't do anything about it until it got much worse.
Well, that's what I was wondering, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing mechanically wrong with the engine. You're not going to blow a valve out or have a ring crack on you or any such thing like that.
Right.
And you'd have to wait till it got worse. But considering it's a 1984, even though it has 60-odd thousand miles on it, I think it's very likely that module, which is now 14 years old,
Wow.
is every once in a while missing a beat.
Okay.
And when it does
Okay.
that, you will not get spark to a few cylinders, or maybe a whole bunch, maybe more than that, for a split second, and then it'll just jump right back in and work again.
Okay. And how much is that going to cost me?
I don't know what they cost. You might be able to buy one for between $50 and $100.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, I'll take the one out of the manure spreader.
Well, I got to go clean all the stuff.
Yeah, we don't need to know. That's good. We don't,
Spare us the
that's
details.
good. Okay. Make sure you wash your hands before you have lunch.
Good luck, Ben.
All right, thanks, guys.
See you later.
All right.
Hey, it's a dirty job, but someone has to do it.
It is.
All right.
All right.
Guess what? The puzzler answer and more calls are coming up right after this.
This message comes from Wise, the app for doing things in other currencies. With Wise, you can send, spend, or receive money across borders, all at a fair exchange rate. No markups or hidden fees. Join millions of customers and visit wise.com. T's and C's apply. This message comes from Monday.com. Work management platforms. Red tape, endless adoption time, IT bottlenecks. And after all that, nobody really uses them. But what if you didn't hate your work platform? What if you actually loved it? Monday.com work management platform is different. You can make any changes you want and adapt it to your needs in an instant. No admin middlemen. That's why people actually love using it. Monday.com, the first work platform you'll love to use.
Climate change is drying up some water supplies and making others undrinkable. That's why Here and Now Anytime is covering the hunt for fresh water. From a pipeline in the Great Lakes, to the science of desalination, to extreme recycling that turns sewage into clean drinking water. That's Here and Now Anytime, a podcast from NPR and WBUR.
Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us. Click and Clack, the Tapper Brothers.
We are consummate professionals. My brother's sitting here eating soup.
I'm sick. I have to have chicken soup and I'm sick.
Dripping down his chin, going down his chest.
That's why I wear these V-neck T-shirts so you can't
First
see.
of all, you're not supposed to eat in the studio.
Oh. Well, anyway.
I don't want to have to tell you this again.
Here's the answer to last week's puzzle. Do you remember last week's puzzler?
It had something to do with Germany.
There you go. Okay, now I gave a lot of
or was
hints
it Russia?
Here, and you didn't. No, that was War and Peace. And you didn't participate when I remember when I stated the puzzler. You were quite quiet.
I was?
Yeah, you didn't. Usually, you interject, you interrupt, you interfere, disrupt.
Well, remind me what it was.
Okay,
and I'll tell you why I was like that.
Sometime in the late 1930s in Germany and perhaps other countries as well. Aeronautical engineers. Now, this thing is rife with hints. This puzzler is. Aeronautical engineers were working on a device. The device, get this, took water vapor, which is one of the byproducts of gasoline engine combustion, and would condense it into water and save it. And it would save it in such a way so that the amount of water saved would be exactly equivalent in weight
to the amount of fuel burned.
There you go.
Right, and I said, I remember saying something like that way that the weight of the plane would remain constant.
You did say that.
Yeah.
Why would you want it to remain constant?
And the only thing I can think of was that it must have been a weapon of some kind, and you wanted the weight to remain constant because there was some kind of a guidance system which wouldn't work properly if the weight kept changing.
Buzz bombs you're thinking of, right?
Something like that.
No, that's not it either.
Nothing like that, huh?
So, as you might guess, as the engine burned a pound of fuel, a pound of water would be saved, right? You've come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
And the rest would be discarded, of course. The question is, why would you want to do this? That was the question. And obviously, you've come upon weaponry, which is not it. Airplanes was not it. Our engineer, Jonathan Marston, came up with submarines. Ooh, that's good, huh?
That would be good.
Except, why would you want to save water? Immersed in water.
You said aeronautical.
There you go.
And submarines aren't aeronautical, John.
Well, he wasn't paying attention. He's engineering the show, damn it. He's got a lot of other important things to do. But he got the gist of it.
Yeah.
But he was close, I said.
Oh, dirigibles.
Exactly.
Of course.
At that time, they had switched over from hydrogen as the levitating medium, which was a little dangerous, to helium, which was much safer, but very expensive.
Yeah.
And needless to say, as you consume fuel and the craft becomes lighter and lighter,
you got to spew the stuff out.
You got to spew the stuff out, but you can't do that because it's expensive. So what you want to do is save some of the byproducts so you keep the weight of the vehicle the same.
I love it.
Isn't it great? Dale Margie sent that in.
Actually, he's answered for me a question I've been struggling with for these many minutes, which was the stoichiometry involved. That assumes, the whole question and answer assumes that you produce far more water.
It's 18 to 1.
Really?
18 pounds of water.
No.
To every pound of... And that is the source of the greenhouse effect.
Of the greenhouse effect.
That's the problem. We're adding water to the planet, and in doing so, we're slowing down. Pretty soon, the days are going to be 25 hours. We're slowing down the angular velocity of the planet.
We knew that because of the billboard effect, too.
That too.
That's 26 hours. I mean, add that to it.
Yeah.
So there's the billboard effect and the roof snow theory. And
all that. Okay, well, who's going to win our fabulous prize this week, Tommy?
Who am I, Ed McMahon? I just gave away a lousy T-shirt. The winner this week is Marcy Rodney from Louisville. What? Colorado.
Oh, Colorado.
Or maybe it's Louisville, Colorado.
I bet it is.
And Marcy Rodney, for having your answer chosen at random from among all the right answers that we did get this week, you, Marcy Rodney, will get one of our 10th anniversary Car Talk T-shirts with our current slogan on it, celebrating 10 years of bad car advice. And that's truth in advertising, if there ever was any.
Anyway, we'll have a brand new puzzler coming up in the third half of today's show, so don't touch that dial. In the meantime, we'll take your calls at 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello, my name is Susan. I'm calling from Charlotte, Vermont.
Charlotte?
Yes.
How do you spell that?
The same way as you spell Charlotte. We're near the French border.
Oh, Charlotte, oui, oui.
Charlotte. You didn't know I spoke French, did you?
Vermont. How are you, Susan?
Well, I'm actually frightened.
Oh.
And I'm hoping that you can save our household from some impending peril.
Really? Yeah, what?
Well, we were without power for about a week during the great ice storm.
Yeah. Geez.
So we had no heat, no water, no toilets that flushed.
Yeah.
And my husband, who is a theoretical physicist, and I'd like to stress the theoretical part, He wants to get something that's called an inverter.
Yeah.
That will get electric power from the car battery.
Well, interestingly, we just received an email about this the other day on our site. Somebody wanted to know. It may have been your husband even.
I bet it was.
Well, it may have been. Somebody from up north there wanted to know if, in fact, you could buy an inverter that would take the 12 volts from your battery and invert it to 12 volts DC and change it to 110 AC. And the answer is yes, there is such a device.
Of course,
such a device.
And it's not going to blow up the car or the furnace?
No.
Well, we're going to get back to the theoretical part of this in a minute.
All right.
Let's go to the practical part.
Because he just says to me, "Oh, you don't need to understand this." Well,
well, first of all, your car alternator puts out about 50 amps of electricity. Okay, times 12 volts is 600 watts. So you could run 6 light bulbs. You cannot run your electric hot water heater, which takes about 6,000 watts.
Yeah.
Nor can you run your furnace or even an electric coffee pot, which I think takes like 1,200 watts.
Yeah.
And that's before any of the losses incurred in the transmogrification of power. Because you've got to change the DC to AC, you've got to step up the voltage from 12 to 120. And when you do all this, there are losses for heat, which on a theoretical basis, we know don't exist.
That's right. In the frictionless world in which your husband lives.
Definitely.
All things are possible.
And while it's possible to light a few light bulbs using the 100 horsepower engine that's under your hood, you'd be much better off going to Home Depot and buying like a 6,000 watt generator.
Yeah, I mean, on the other hand, it's not a bad thing to have because inverters have been around for decades. I had one of these inverters in my old 53 Dodge, and it worked great. I could run one light bulb off of it, which was cool because when I broke down, which was every week, I had in my trunk a 50-foot extension cord with a 100-watt bulb in it. And people were amazed to see me under the hood with a real extension cord and a 100-watt bulb.
No, they weren't. They'd say, there's Tom again.
Tom again, fix this car. So, I mean, these things have been around. The technology's 1 million years old. But the problem is exactly as my brother has said, that you don't get very much power out of it. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't have one.
But it won't start the furnace, the oil burning furnace?
Oh, no, you're going to have to go to the depot for that.
Ah, okay. Well, he did rig up a light bulb from the sailboat battery during the crisis.
Excellent.
And sparks flew.
I was going to say, so he's not completely worthless.
No, but
it was too late.
The cable burned out, and he said, oops.
Oops, yeah.
And that oops makes me very nervous about this other stuff.
Yeah.
But your advice is definitely no. I can pass this on.
Yeah, no, that's not what we said. We said this is not a bad thing to have, and it wouldn't be bad to have a couple of 100-watt bulbs if you had nothing else.
But he won't be able to run the furnace with it.
Right, okay.
You'll be able to run a few light bulbs, and if that can bring you comfort on a cold and bleak night in the upper reaches of Vermont, and why anyone would want to live there, we don't know, but you've chosen to live there.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true. Well, I hope we haven't helped.
I hope. Yeah, get the inverter. It's not bad.
Okay, thanks very much.
Your husband is not as wacko as we thought he would be.
Well, but, you haven't met him.
No, but don't trust him. He sounds dangerous.
I don't want to let out any military secrets, but where does he work?
Well, actually, he works at home. He writes physics books.
Oh. Really?
Oh, that sounds awfully fishy to me. He
sits at home and writes...
I'm telling you, he's working on the Philadelphia experiment. No. Just, Susan, sometime when he's like in a semi-conscious state, he's half between waking up and sleep, just whisper in his ear, Philadelphia experiment, and see if he just sits bolt upright in bed.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
See what happens and report back to us.
I definitely will do that.
Susan, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Bye-bye.
Hope you don't freeze your butt off up there. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Hey, stick around for more calls and the new puzzler coming right up.
You have your job, but you also have a life. And you're not just one thing. Neither is the Here and Now Anytime podcast. Every weekday, we break down the biggest story of the day and something else, like a new trend everyone's talking about. It's Here and Now Anytime, a daily podcast from NPR and WBUR.
You want to follow what's happening in Washington, D.C., but you don't want to be scrolling your phone all day. I'm Scott Detrow, and NPR has a podcast that can help. It's called Trump's Terms. Stories about big changes the 47th president is pursuing on his own terms. They're short, they're focused episodes that tell you calmly, factually, what is happening and what isn't. Listen to Trump's Terms from NPR.
These days, there is a lot of news. It can be hard to keep up with what it means for you, your family, and your community. Consider This from NPR is a podcast that helps you make sense of the news. 6 days a week, we bring you a deep dive on a story and provide the context, backstory, and analysis you need to understand our rapidly changing world. Listen to the Consider This podcast from NPR.
Aviv Regev is the co-founder of the Human Cell Atlas. It's a huge leap in understanding how human cells work. She says it's like upgrading from a 15th century map of the world to Google Maps.
If I want to develop a medicine that would only go to the place where something is broken, I need to know how to get there.
The new wave of biotechnology. That's on the TED Radio Hour podcast from NPR.
Oh, don't wait. We're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert brothers, and we're here to discuss, of course, cars, car repair, and the what? The new puzzler.
Oh, you have one.
I do have one.
I can hardly wait.
Well, I have a crusty puzzler, which I will save until next week.
I can hardly wait. What is it?
Well, this was sent to us from cyberspace by someone named Roy Richard.
Good. Read it.
He says,
hurry up.
While driving around Luxembourg on a recent trip to Europe, I caught a glimpse of a billboard that immediately brought Car Talk to mind.
Yeah.
The billboard was brightly colored with a cartoon, like a pig on the bottom, but it wasn't just a pig that brought Car Talk to mind. Across the center of the sign was written an equation. Write this down.
I'm going to write it down. Go ahead.
D.
Small or big?
Yeah.
D equals
V over 10 in parentheses.
Yeah.
Squared. That quantity squared.
Yeah.
The whole thing divided by 2. Okay, you got it? So the quantity.
Whoa!
V over 10.
Yeah. Squared.
Divide V by 10. Square it. Divide that whole thing by 2. Got it?
I've got it. Yeah.
Right? You got it.
Yeah. And this was a billboard?
This was a billboard. He says, remembering a discussion on the show of several months ago, I immediately knew what this was all about.
Wow.
What was it?
That's it? That's the question? No. Oh, you gave a hint. Remembering a discussion on our show.
Remembering a discussion on Car Talk of a few months ago.
I knew immediately what this meant.
And all the hints are there. I mean, Luxembourg. I mean, you name it. You name it. It's all there, man.
Richard.
Roy Richard, Luxembourg, Europe.
Yeah.
D is there.
V is there, too.
D and V. They're both there.
All right.
Now, if you think you know the answer or things are slow at work and you feel like taking a guess, mail your answer to Puzzler Tower, Car Talk Plaza, Box 3500, Harvard Square, Cambridge.
Our fair city.
MA 02238. Or you can email us your answer from our website, cartalk.msn.com. Just click on the Talk to Car Talk section. And if we choose your correct answer at random, from among all the correct answers, you'll get one of our new Car Talk t-shirts featuring the slogan celebrating 10 years of bad car advice. Our number is 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
This is Paris from Newburyport, Massachusetts.
Paris?
Yeah.
Paris?
I've been on before. I don't know if you remember me.
Oh, the name is familiar. Where are you from? Newburyport?
Yeah, from Newburyport, yeah.
No, I don't remember you.
I do remember.
I was on like 2 years ago from Mississippi, actually, so.
Well, what did we talk about when you were on before?
Oh, God, I had a question that was one part automotive, one part religious. I had a car that I was trying to get from my sister's church, and they wouldn't give it to me.
I remember.
because I wasn't a Christian.
Yes.
Ah, yes.
You're a Buddhist.
That's right. You remember.
Of course I
You
remember.
guys shamed them into selling me that car after they heard the broadcast.
They did?
Yeah, I wanted to thank you for that.
Hey, don't mention it, man. So what are you calling again for?
Well, man, you gave me such good advice last time. I had to call again. I've got a car. It's an 87 Toyota pickup truck, and it's in New Orleans. My fiancée Barbara is driving it.
Yeah.
It's got 230,000 miles on it. It's got a chronic overheating problem.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, give us the conditions under which it overheats.
Oh, it overheats year-round.
All the time.
Yeah, full-time without a thermostat, and we got to keep the heat on. And in New Orleans, in the summertime, it's even worse. And in stop-and-go city traffic, even with the heat on, sometimes you got to pull over. And I did a lot of work to it. I had the radiator rotted out, replaced the hoses, thermostat, water pump, fan clutch. But it's still overheating. We're still running it with no thermostat.
Well, first of all, how come you move around so much?
How come I move around so much?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, a couple of years ago, you called us from where?
I called you from Jackson, Mississippi.
From Jackson, Mississippi. Then you must have moved to New Orleans to meet Barbara.
Yeah.
Now you're back in Newburyport, Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's back where I belong, you know?
Yeah, okay.
But you left Barbara and the truck in New Orleans.
Right.
Well, is she planning to come up here to Newburyport?
If I can ever get her pickup truck fixed, I think she's going to come up here.
She is not going to make it here with that pickup truck.
Not the way it's running, yeah.
Not ever.
No.
No, she's never give up.
Really? It's time to give
no,
up?
I never give up.
Well, unless you're ready to, do a transplant.
We love this thing, though, you know?
It's obviously lived its whole life down in New Orleans. It's not rusted. It's not a junker.
Right, exactly.
Well, if you've replaced all the things that you've replaced, it's only one of two things. Either the radiator, which you say you had rotted out, is not really good enough.
Really?
But I don't think that's true.
Uh-huh.
Or the engine itself, the cooling passages inside the engine are so disgustingly messed.
Well, they would have noticed that when they took the head off.
And they probably did.
You think so?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I would do.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tell us about Barbara. I mean, why bother to solve this problem?
Yeah, how serious?
Actually, I've got some problems with her you might be able to help me with.
I mean, is she really worth it? Because this is not going to be easy.
Yeah, I think I may have to break down and get her a new vehicle because she's worth it. But
if she's worth it. All right. But I was going to suggest, if you want to go at it scientifically, that you take the radiator out and have somebody flow test it.
Oh.
Preferably not the guys that rotted it out.
Right.
Another radiator shop.
Uh-huh.
You may find out that, in fact, it's not really clear.
Yeah,
however,
that would be really, really nice to find out.
If the radiator were plugged up, the problem would be much worse driving at high speed. Is that true?
Actually, when we're on the highway, we don't have to use the heat as much.
So it's the opposite.
Yeah,
better.
It's in the city with the stop and go where you really need it, you know?
Okay, then
Sounds like the engine, huh?
Yeah.
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 That was the right.
Well, I think you ought to throw an engine in it.
Really?
Why not?
Yeah. What'd that run, about $1,000?
I mean, if
you just want to throw it in there, yeah. You want to hook it up and have it actually move the wheels?
Yeah.
No, I mean, if the thing is really as nice as you say, no rust, everything works, then it would certainly be worth spending
the $3,000 it's going to cost you.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Well, I sure do appreciate you guys' help.
Here's what you do. Send us a picture of the truck and Barbara. And we'll send you our written response within a week.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys.
Good luck,
Paris. Welcome back to Massachusetts, pal.
Glad to be back.
See you later.
See you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I wonder what he does for a living. He's a salesman.
I don't know, but I bet you it borders on being illegal. I don't know why.
You just had that feeling, didn't you?
I had that feeling. But he sounds like a nice guy.
Very nice.
But he's selling something.
He's a telemarketer, isn't he?
Yeah. 1-888-CAR Talk. That's 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
This is Wendy calling from Iowa City.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi there.
Iowa City.
I don't hold out too much hope for your solving this. It might be closer to being a puzzler.
Oh, really?
I've tried everything.
Oh, boy, we love a challenge like that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have an 88 Honda Prelude four-wheel steering car that I love and plan to drive forever.
Now, that was a feature that really caught on, huh?
Hey,
oh, yeah.
It's terrific. I love this car, except when my husband rides in it because he fogs it up. I mean, he fogs it up like mushroom soup on the inside of the windows or something.
Really?
Now, he doesn't do this in other cars.
He doesn't.
No, and nobody else does this in my car.
Wow.
Okay. Is he over 6 feet tall?
Oh, heavens no.
A little guy?
Oh, yeah. Well, short. And I can't tie it to a season.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried with and without the air conditioner on. I've tried the inside and outside intakes.
So you have it on fresh air?
Yeah, I've tried both. All combinations, all permutations.
Is there a chance that he's outgassing?
I tell you, I don't think it's diet related. I don't think it's breath related. He seems to have a pleasant breath.
And he fogs up all the windows?
Oh, it's a matter of minutes. Can't see a thing. You can wipe it off all day. It fogs right back up again. Doesn't happen in his car.
So it makes no difference whether he's driving or riding as a passenger?
You could be sitting in the back seat.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, his head isn't wet or anything. I mean, he's not just out of the shower when he gets into your car. I mean, that would do it,
No.
No, so he can get in the middle of the day.
Oh, sure. Anytime, day, night.
Anytime. And how long does it take for the fog up to occur?
Oh, 5 minutes. It starts.
And then even if you turn on the defroster?
Oh, yeah. You can.
That would take care of it, right?
Yeah,
no.
It does with other people.
Oh, it doesn't with him?
No.
It does not?
No,
This man is emitting some serious water vapor.
But only in my car?
Well, I think it's happening in your car because the Prelude is a relatively small vehicle.
Uh-huh.
And so if he is emitting large amounts of water vapor, it wouldn't happen in a vehicle which had a larger passenger compartment.
Okay, it doesn't happen in my son's Jetta.
Okay.
Jetta's a little bigger than the
Jetta's
Prelude.
big.
How about if you left the windows open? I mean, if you left a window open.
Well, we've tried cracking the windows. We tried opening the skylight a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps a little?
No. Only that there's no fog where there's no window.
Yeah. You got to tell us more about him then.
Here's the test.
Oh, gosh.
Well, here's the test. I mean, I don't know what it's going to tell you necessarily, but it's going to tell you something.
Uh-huh.
He needs a snorkel. You know the snorkels that you buy at the sporting goods store?
Excellent.
And you need to have breathe out the window.
Yeah, I like it because we have to determine is the source of the moisture in his lungs or is it some other part of his body?
Okay.
I think it's in his garments.
After this phone call, my problem might be solved. He might refuse to ride with me.
No, I mean if we eliminate his breath.
Okay.
That will open up all new possibilities. Then we can start talking about his clothing, his habits.
Okay.
Well, the next step would be he has to ride naked. But the first step is the snorkel. Do the snorkel.
Okay.
Call us back.
Okay.
And then we'll give you the next step.
All right.
Call us back next week.
Okay.
All right.
We'll talk to you, Wendy.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, it's happened again.
What?
You vaporized yet another hour listening. It's an hour and a half, isn't it?
It's an hour and a half. 3.5 hours.
Listening to Car Talk. Our esteemed producer is Doug the Subway Fugitive, not a slave to fashion, Berman.
We need
Our
some new
associate
names for him, by the
producer
way.
and Dean of the College of Automusicology is Ken Babyface Rogers. Our assistant producer is Catherine Crystal Ray, and our engineer is Jonathan Marston. Our technical and spiritual advisor is Mr. John S. Lawler. Our public opinion pollster is Paul Murky of Murky Research, assisted by statistician Marge in Overa. Our director of new product repair is Warren T. Myfoot, assisted by our customer care representative, Haywood Jabuzoff. Our staff butler from the Car Talk Mumbai division is Mahatma Coat. Our junkyard manager is Ricardo Dismantelbon. Our director of moral support is Hugh Demand. The chairman of our underemployment study group is Art Majors. Where was Art? He was gone for a long time. Our director of listener support is Old Noah Fun Drive, and our Leo Tolstoy biographer is Warren Peace, author of Leo Tolstoy by Warren Peace. Our chief counsel from the law firm of Dewey, Cheatham & Howard is Hugh Lewis Dewey, known among the unemployed semiotics majors in Harvard Square as Huey Louie Dewey. Thanks so much for listening. We're Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers, and don't drive like my brother or my sister.
Don't drive like my brother or my sister.
We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
And now, with an extraordinarily important announcement, here is Car Talk Plaza's chief mechanic, Mr. Vinny Umbas.
All right, now, if you want a copy of this week's Car Talk show, which is number 9, the number is 1-888-CAR Junk.
And if somebody wanted other car talk things, like CDs, would they call that very same number?
No, you'd call Tara Lipinski's cell phone, you dope. Of course you call the same number, 1-888-CAR-JUNK, or you can get stuff through the online shameless commerce division at cartalk.msn.com.
Vinny, have you been practicing your restful visualizations?
Visualize this, will you? Car Talk is a production of Dewey, Cheatham & Howe and WBUR in Boston.
And even though Robert Siegel nearly swallows his cigar every time he hears us say it, this is NPR, National Public Radio.
Donald Trump has an extraordinary approach to the presidency. At the NPR Politics Podcast, we're recapping the first 100 days of Donald Trump's second term, from his early promises to his policy decisions and what it all means for you. Politics may not always make sense, but we'll sort it out together over on the NPR Politics Podcast.
Since Donald Trump took office in January, a lot has happened.
The White House Budget Office ordered a pause on all federal grants and loans.
The impact of the Trump administration's tariffs is already being felt in
President Trump's efforts to radically remake the federal government.
The NPR Politics Podcast covers it all. Keep up with what's happening in Washington and beyond with the NPR Politics Podcast. Listen every day.
The scary new movie Sinners, from the director of Black Panther, finds Michael B. Jordan playing twin brothers. It's got vampires, it's got great music, and it's a fun one to see with a big crowd.
This is the most excited I've been about a movie in a very long time.
We'll tell you why you should see Sinners on the biggest screen you can. Listen to the Pop Culture Happy Hour podcast from NPR.